professional before making important investment decisions. And now, Financial Renaissance. Good morning. Namaste, financial knowledge seekers. What a great week we had this week. Well, for some of us, did you feel those financial tremors in the ground this week? Listen, thank you for tuning in to Financial Renaissance on Sensation Station Network. That's right. I am Emma Folks, your host, the amazing Emma Folks, certified financial planner by day, Main Street defender and hero by night, weekends, and every other time of the week that I'm not sitting in front of my very own clients. Man, what a week we've had. There's a lot going on in the financial markets. However, we're being distracted by a lot of pettiness happening in Washington. But the Wall Street markets, the Federal Reserve Bank, they are showing us signs and symptoms of things that we do need to pay attention to. Let's see, what else happened great this week? Well, today on today's show, we have Hillary Thomas from AARP, Georgia. She's going to talk to us about something called warmongering or war driving. War driving. We're going to find out what that means. It is Cybersecurity Month. So in the spirit of keeping up with all the cyber fraud and all the cyber things going on in the world, we're going to teach you how to protect not only your home, but also your business. So go ahead and grab your coffee. Put on that pot of water for your tea, mix up that orange juice with the champagne. And what do you put in what's the hibiscus one? What's that called?
A poinsettia? No, that's cranberry.
Yeah, that. Anyway, so get your drinks ready because during the commercial breaks, during the show, we are actually going to be working. So there are going to be things that you have to do during the commercial breaks. No sitting down. You can, throw your laundry and things like that. But this is the kickoff of open enrollment season at work. For those of you that work for someone, this is benefit season. So I'll be talking to you about the things you need to be looking at. You actually need to look at your benefits, figure out the right things to get for yourself. That's what we're going to be working on today's show. This will be a working Sunday. So one of the first things I want you to do during the break, you're going to go check out all the balances on all the bank accounts that you have. Those seen and those that are unseen. That's right. On to Emma Knows Money today, I'm going to give you some tips about caregiving, some things that if it's you and your siblings or you and other people that are caring for an elder loved one or a special needs person, there's just some tips and things that you can do so that you can coordinate all the efforts that you're doing so that it doesn't feel so haphazard and so that everyone doesn't feel so overwhelmed. All right, when we come back on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we'll have Hillary Thomas, and I'm going to tell you about what's happening in the markets and on Wall Street. But again, I want you during the break, you got 300 seconds to check all your bank accounts. See you on the other side.
You saw that was one of the things. One of the ways to prevent fraud is to actually have that online banking access. So the thing that people are afraid of, they're telling you to do that because you can quickly check it. You have to go into the bank.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Let's look at now. All right.
I feel like they should have like jerk palace in the station.
So we can
because every time this commercial comes on,
I'm hungry. Where are they in Morrow, Georgia? You're gonna have to make a special request. Special request.
Like, I need some of that chicken. You got some rice and peas? What you got over there?
Oh, we got the best jerk seasoning. The best. It's not too spicy. It's like real Jamaican jerk. Jamaican jerk is not spicy. It doesn't burn your face off. It's perfect. I'll lend you some. Yes. No. It's just seasoning the. It's all. We'll work out something. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, everybody. I think I saw Sandy on there. All right. Do you have the soundbite for I love the smell of it? All right, cool. So I'm gonna bring you in after the next commercial. That way we have enough time and we can kind of, not this one, but the. Oh, actually, I'll be talking about open enrollment. I'll kind of talk.
My name is Alicia,
and then officially after the 25.
Invest in better futures. I'm glad I filled out the form and everything.
I know. I was like, what? Look at Hillary. She's like, she said, I still send it to her. I was like, yes, send it to her. Send it to her. Send it to her.
Since I emerged after Prize,
Yeah, she knew.
my office still looks like a rainbow blew up. It's just stuff everywhere. It does. It's like there are prizes. We had 2 major prizes, not major. We had 2, like the park chairs. They were rainbow park chairs and had AARP on the back. So
You brought one?
given away.
Did you bring one? Did you bring us some rainbow gear?
I can't do that. Your wife has a nice t-shirt.
I saw. I want one. That t-shirt was actually one of the best t-shirts I've seen in a long time.
Onika's company did it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, she wrote the flow last year, and she was like, I can do better. I was like, yeah. But she actually did.
She did do better.
She
Yeah.
showed me the shirt she made for the city of Atlanta, and I was like, oh.
She did those.
The ones that were Atlanta, like the
The census ones.
She might have done that one. I know she did the one that everybody in the city of Atlanta wore in the parade last year.
Okay. I don't know what that. I don't remember.
They were nice.
I don't remember the parade last
And
year.
then she really did a good job.
Your favorite half breakfast pastry.
All right. What I need
Your
is.
favorite bowl of ear candy. Oh my.
All right, 1 minute and a half coming back.
Like some
All right.
unknown hunger within you. Just
Oh, you want to see what's happening?
sugary center in success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more.
And
So
more.
go forth. Bring home the
Am I resetting when I come back?
and bring home so much good. to your
Am I resetting when I come back?
Yeah, if you can do it within that drop.
Oh yeah. No. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Adopt US Kids presents multiple choice parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you?
All we can do, we can do a pro light,
She has split ends.
and I can have it reset. You wait for me to do the drop, then you come in.
This is going to happen a lot.
That's prograde.
That's what?
That's prograde.
Prograde?
Yeah.
How do you spell that, sir?
PROGRADE. Prograde.
Prograde.
Yeah, like professional.
Hey, Steve. It's no good time.
So coming off the instrumental,
Or D,
wait till I point to
find
you.
a new
Right.
boyfriend.
Right.
I hit the front sale,
Okay.
right? Then after the front sale, I hit the drop, then go on the store.
So I need you to like kind of give me a.
As a parent,
Wow.
there
All
are
right.
no perfect answers.
I'm ready for this, sir.
I know you're-
I accept the challenge.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, we do love the smell of napalm in the morning. That's right. And you know what we smell? We smell the recession in the air. That's right, ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between. Yes, the recession is here. They may not call it, but let's talk about what happened last week. All right. A couple of weeks ago, the repo market tightened up. So at night, while we're sleeping, the banks transfer money and borrow money from the Fed, and they transfer money back and forth. Well, a couple of weeks ago, that money, it's the money market. So the money markets that we put our money into, the banks lend those to business owners so that they can pay payroll and some other stuff. It's like short money lending, et cetera. During the recession, what led to the recession, you heard the term paper tightened up. Well, that's what happened about 2 weeks ago. There was a tightening up and there wasn't enough money to go back and forth between all of the banks so that everybody could pay their bills. That was something very scary that happened. It was very quiet. We've got a lot of other noise happening in Washington, D.C., so people didn't pay it a lot of mind. But for me, it was a 2008 deja vu moment, like real talk. So the other thing that happened is as a result of the overnight markets tightening up, the Federal Reserve Bank decided to infuse money into our economy. So again, the Federal Reserve Bank is now lending us money once again. Last time they lent us money was 2008, 2009. That is a part of what's called quantitative easing, or QE. Okay, QE does not stand for Queen Elizabeth. It stands for quantitative easing, or quant easing if you want to talk industry speak. So quantitative easing means that they're buying US Treasury bonds, okay? And I explain, I've been explaining since the show started that the Federal Reserve bought about, I think it was $4 trillion worth of US bonds to infuse money into our economy during the last recession. They've only gotten back about $1 trillion worth. So they still have about $3 trillion on their books. And here they are again, lending money to our economy. If our economy is doing so great, we don't need a loan. Okay, we wouldn't need the loan. So two things that happen during quantitative easing. Number one, interest rates get reduced. What just happened? The Federal Reserve lowered interest rates. They're going to lower interest rates again. Number two thing that happens during quantitative easing, they infuse money into the economy. What has happened last week? The Federal Reserve Bank has infused money into our economy. So what you need to be doing is paying attention to things that you may want to buy. And when I say things, I mean assets. And assets are things that appreciate in value. I'm not talking about shoes, although, there's an argument about the Jordans and the sneakerhead stuff. No, I'm talking about property. I'm talking about things that you can feel, buy, touch, that you can buy at a low price and then sell it again at a higher price. That's what the opportunity, that's what's going to happen during the recession. Last recession, the top 1% were prepared because they had cash on hand. So they were able to buy up a whole bunch of stuff that we were selling. So get your minds right. Oh, I wish I had that drop. You need to get your mind right. You need to get your mind right. The recession is coming. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be a bad thing. But the decisions that you're going to be making in your life, you need to think a little bit about them. Is it time now to switch jobs, or do you wait? There's a lot of stuff that goes along with this. Can you pay down as much debt as possible? Can you get a side job to pay down as much debt as possible? Can you get a side job to save as much money as possible so you can buy a little apartment complex, or 4 units, or so that you can buy a rental property, or so that you can put money down to buy a daycare center or elder care center or something along those lines? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in our world. Heck, Amazon is giving helping people start their own business for delivery services. You may be able to put some money together, get a couple of trucks. There's a lot of ways to flip this recession, but don't get caught flat-footed. I'm telling you, it is coming. You didn't have this 10 years ago, but you're having it today. So make sure that you are prepared. Now, during the last break, I had asked you to take time to go look up all your bank accounts. I want you to make sure you look at all the bank account balances that you have, so that you kind of know where you stand net worth wise. And you want to pay attention to what's going on in your bank accounts. When the recession is coming, there are other people, the hackers and other people, that are going to get a little greedier. So you want to pay attention to your bank account balances a little bit more than usual. You want to make sure what you spent when you go to a restaurant. Let's go back to old school. Give people cash at restaurants, but don't give anybody your debit card. Never give anybody your debit card. If they're going to be walking away from you with that card, they can easily swipe it. They've got, what do they call those little readers? Skimmers, I think. They'll skim your card, and then they have open access to your bank account. It's a lot harder to get that money back than if it's coming from a credit card. All right. During this break, I want you to check your retirement plan balances. Okay. We'll be back in 300 seconds on Financial Renaissance with the M's.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer and warm place on the I want to play football stadium like that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a sports field. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle
Me either.
I
I don't want to be a piece of garbage when I grow up. And when I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. Am I resetting when we come back?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, that's the good news there.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow.
Oh, speaking of church, Did she know about the pastor?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
She's the one that told me.
Hey,
Yeah.
Prime, you know about that pastor? You saw that?
Oh, man, he's so.
Hey.
I saw your memes. I didn't have to watch the actual video.
So I saw all the memes, but then the curiosity got the best of me, and then I saw it, and then I was like, "Oh, Trina needs to see this." Anytime I see stuff I don't need to see, I'm like, "Let me share it with Trina." Thank you. Say it. Share it. What's the purpose of having one if you don't share it?
Exactly. Both of our minds need to be together. It's in my vision path and I can't get it out. It's being yours.
Ooh, it was not what you know what I actually thought it was? I thought it said Pastor Warren. I don't think I had my glasses on, so I was thinking Rick Warren. I was like, and started reading the stuff, and I'm like, why are people going in on Rick Warren like this? Like, what did he do? Blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, and I think I dropped my phone because I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So that was, No, that wasn't my church.
That wasn't it.
That was not my church.
He's not in Atlanta, is he?
My church?
No, that person.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't want to.
I have no clue.
But I would love to be in
I'm
that
sure
congregation today. Because I was like, we need to find a link for that church because I want to see that service.
That looked like an old school church. I don't even know if they had
Wait, Wi-Fi?
services.
Woo. 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 It was still trending yesterday too.
Oh yeah.
Whew. And then
The pastor, that's as good as somebody's
All right,
mayor,
coming back.
that's as good as what?
After the drop.
mayor, city council person, all that. The pastor, oh yeah. It's gonna be trending for this thing.
How many minutes?
Come back now.
Okay. Am I resetting?
Yeah, we said.
And we are back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. That is right. We are streaming live on ssnatl.com or sensationstationnetwork.com. If you go to Facebook, if you want to watch us here in the studio, which I strongly advise, go to Facebook, type in Sensation Station Network. I don't even know if you have to hit the like, but hit the little circle thingy, and then you get to watch the live production view of the show live in the studio. All right. If you want to text us, you can text us at 678-613-5857. And feel free to drop any comments that you have on my live Facebook stream on Facebook or on the show's Facebook stream in the comments section. All right. Let's talk about open enrollment. What in the heck is open enrollment? If you work for a company, meaning somebody pays you to come to work for sick leave, things like that, you probably are going through open enrollment. And open enrollment is when your company offers you benefits. So in addition to your salary, they're going to offer you things like life insurance, disability insurance, flex spending, health savings accounts. What do you call the kid thing? Dependent care, something or another, stuff like that. And in some very, very rare cases, they'll even offer you long-term care. So let's start off with one of the first ones that I always tell people not to get too caught up in, and that is accidental death and dismemberment. Accidental death and dismemberment is not life insurance, and it is not disability insurance. The reason why it's dirt cheap is because you have to die on a full moon on the 13th of Monday. Basically they have to pull the sheet over your head on site in order for the death part to pay out, or you literally have to have limbs dismembered, lose an eye, lose hearing, things like that in order for it to work. If you do work for a company and travel is a huge part of it, then you want to look into accidental death and dismemberment as well as other travel insurances that they may offer. Now, let's talk about life insurance. Group life insurance is what you get through work. Usually they give you 1 time your salary, or $50,000 is usually, almost tax-free for the companies, but they'll give you usually 1 time your salary, and you can elect for X times your salary, and sometimes they even have supplemental. One of the benefits of getting life insurance from work is you don't have to go through underwriting. So if you have, you know, a terminal illness, whether it's HIV or I don't know any other terminal illness that they would, you know, disqualify you for, cancer, blah, 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 you can still get it because they do it as a group policy. So the benefits are, you know, it's low costing. There's no medical underwriting. And then in some cases, they'll offer you even more than, sometimes you can get up to 10 times your salary through a supplemental policy. Now, the supplemental, you may have to go through underwriting a little bit, but hey, it's low costing. Now, the downside to this is that it may be enough for your end of life wishes. The amount that they're offering you at the job may not be enough for you and your family's needs. The other thing is the insurance usually ends when it's time for you to leave the job. So whether you quit or get fired or separate, you're laid off, in most cases, that insurance does not go with you. So when you're looking at your benefits, you want to ask your human resources department, you know, is the life insurance that I'm signing up for portable? Right? Portable, like meaning you can port it from one place to the next. The last thing you would want to have happen is you have life insurance for your family, you lose your job, and now you don't have life insurance. You're either uninsurable or something happens to you while you're in between jobs. That's something really scary. So for most people, I do think that you should consider getting your own individual life insurance policy. You want to talk to your insurance agent, your certified financial planner, etc. Life insurance, the individual one that you buy outside, is not only for dying, it's also for living. If you get a chronic illness or a terminal illness, some of these policies will let you tap into the death benefit to pay for medical costs. So you don't have to leave your families with, you know, a whole bunch of debt and things like that. So that's one of the things that you're going to want to ask your human resources department. Hey, you know, one, is my life insurance portable? Can I bring it with me? You also want to know who the company is. Which company is it that's actually the carrier for the insurance? And you want to look them up. Make sure they don't have a lot of complaints and things of that nature. If they do, you want to write a little note, put it in your safe at home, so that way your family members know that they're going to have to duke it out with the insurance company if you pass away. The best thing that I learned a long time ago when I was in the military is know what you have before you need it. And so know what type of insurance company you have before your family needs it. And then in addition to dealing with grief, they're also dealing with, you know, some buffoonery with a with an insurance company. All right, let's look at another type of insurance. Let's talk about disability insurance. Group disability insurance is insurance that will pay you if you are unable to work for an extended period of time. They have short-term disability, which is usually, you know, day one that you're sick to maybe 3 months, or maybe it kicks in 7 days after to about 3 or 6 months. And then there's long-term disability. Long-term disability usually kicks in after 3 months or 6 months. And it will pay you until you're 65, a percentage of your income. Some companies, the average is about 60% of your current income is what the insurance companies will pay. Some companies offer what's called supplemental, which would be an additional 10%. So you'll get 70% of your income. Now, what you need to think about when it comes to income protection or disability insurance is that amount that you get is taxable. So if you have 60% disability, you have to pay taxes on it. So you're really looking at only bringing into your household somewhere between 45% to 50% of what you're making today. So if that amount isn't enough for you, you want to talk to, again, an insurance agent or your certified financial planner, financial advisor about an individual disability policy. And some of these, you know, they are going to be a little bit more expensive than what you get with your group policy. However, because it's your policy, there's more flexibility with what you get to do with it. With the group policy, one of the main questions that you need to ask your human resources person, you're going to have to, you know, pin them down for this. And if your human resources person is a person that's, how do I say, not so helpful? Is that a way to say that? If your human resources person is not so helpful, what you want to do is ask them for the plan. Tell them you want to see the disability plan, and the verbiage that you're looking for. You want to ask, hey, HR person, is our long-term disability insurance integrated with Social Security? And that's a really, really big deal. What that means is, let's say you're out on disability, whether it's permanent or whatever, but you're going to be out for, say, a year or two. The disability policy, once it starts paying you long-term disability, after 6 months, they can reduce the amount that they're paying you by the amount they think Social Security disability is supposed to pay you. Now, we all have been homesick. We've all seen daytime TV. We've all seen the lawyer commercials, where you denied your benefits for Social Security, call us, we'll help you, blah, blah, blah. Usually the first 2 times you apply for Social Security disability, you get denied. So if your long-term care benefit is paying you 60% and then they, it comes all the way down to 20%, what happens to your mortgage, your car payments, all of that stuff, okay? So that's one of those things you really, really need to find out from your Social Security department. All right, when we come back on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we're going to talk about some dating apps, and we're going to talk about war driving with Hillary Thomas from AARP, Georgia, when we come back in 300 seconds. Ow. That was loud. All right. So I did this. Huh?
I'm listening to your commercial. I said that's the truth.
The person wants to move quickly to personal emails or instant messaging to continue talking.
You should have seen the face when we did the Candace Bushnell event.
Uh-huh.
Some of the things I was talking about, her face was like, but no. I'm like, yes.
Wait, what?
Talking about dating sites.
Oh,
Like, no,
yeah.
yes. These people talking about dating sites for people over a certain age. I don't understand they're going to send you over because a lot of people don't like to be in the group that they consider themselves. It's kind of like CJ in the Pride 25 plus. No, that's Pride 45 plus.
Right.
The dating apps are going to be the same. Oh, dating apps for people over 60. No. Those everybody's going to be 70.
I get it.
Wow. So if it's for 50-year-old, it's going to be 60-year-old. So it's 10 years, about 10 years.
Okay, some people, like, people are like, oh no, I'm not in that. I'm almost there.
I don't have to worry about that.
No, you
Join
don't.
a cohort or take classes at your own pace. We have knowledgeable
I sure don't.
We have a life-changing curriculum. Go to academyofcreativity.com.
This weekend is homecoming. And they're actually talking about having this little game with like different cups. So like this cup means taken, this color means taken,